everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wow. Good afternoon. Welcome one more time to Naropa University's Spring 2026 Commencement Ceremony. My name is Namali Pereira, and today I am honored to serve as your MC. And graduates, what we just witnessed, your procession into this hall, the applause, the tears, the cheers, the pride, the relief, no more papers. This, what we just witnessed, is love when it's made visible. So before anything, let's just take a breath together, shall we? If you feel so inspired, your left palm over your chest, your right over your belly, softening into this moment, listening to your heart, to your body, memories of what's been completed, a vision of the future captured right here, right now, in this moment. So welcome again, dear graduates, and all of our esteemed guests. Deep gratitude to all of your support circles, families, friends, partners, mentors, faculty, chosen families joining you here today and online. Thank you for helping these graduates arrive at these moments. I do want to acknowledge that perhaps there may be some graduates here who don't have anyone joining them today here in person. I can share just a tender moment from my own graduation back in 2005 when I sat here as an international student from Sri Lanka. I did not have anyone. So is there anyone here who doesn't have anybody in person? Stand up, perhaps. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are all family, the Naropa family. I am also an alum, and I'd love to just quickly share a little bit about my love for Naropa. When I was an undergrad, and later also a staff member, many in the West travel to the East for their spiritual journeys and their spiritual adventures. I traveled from the East to here. I heard about an amazing place called Naropa University. I grew up in Sri Lanka. For those of you who may not know, it's a tiny little teardrop-shaped island to the south of India. And my dad died of cancer in the late 90s, and it cracked my life open in ways that I couldn't quite understand. And a part of my grieving process was just driving around Colombo, this big, busy, bustling city. And in Colombo, in Sri Lanka, it's a Theravadan Buddhist country, and there are temples everywhere. And then one day, just randomly, I drove into a temple, parked my car, and just walked into the temple premises. And you know, there's a lot of people who go into these spiritual spaces, but it doesn't really mean anything. And I was like that. Had certainly gone to Buddhist temples before, but this time, in my grief, it felt different. And I stood at the entrance. A monk noticed me sort of standing awkwardly. He came and he asked me, could he help? And I said, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, but perhaps I'd like to learn how to meditate. And he said, his eyes got really wide open, and he said, I know just the right book for you. Stay right here. And he pointed towards a meditation cushion on the floor. He said, have a seat, I'll be right back. And I sat down, he scurried off. behind the wall and disappeared, and I sat and I waited for him to bring this book that he thought I should read. I sat there for nearly an hour. He never showed up. All right. So I was looking around, and I couldn't even ask anybody because I don't know who this monk is or was. So I left, and sure enough, little did I know, and I soon realized that was my first meditation sitting. Instruction, in fact. Yes. And in that time, I started my meditation journey, got into that whole contemplative train, and that eventually led me to Naropa. I packed 2 suitcases. I even left my Cocker Spaniel back in Sri Lanka. How did I do that? I don't know. But I came here, and I remember what I did in my undergrad program. Judith Seymour Brown's Spiritual Models of Social Action, Systems Theory with Roland Evans, and this is just a few. Madhyamika with Phil Stanley, tiptoeing into the Lincoln Building Meditation Hall for Frank Berlina's Mahamudra sessions. Process painting with Bernie Marek. Contemplative art with Robert Spellman. Yoga with Nataraja. Those things travel with me to this day, and more. Here at Naropa, I learned to truly listen, how to sit in uncertainty, welcome the unknown. Yes! How to be strong without hardening, and how to stay tender without collapsing. And I learned how to bow. Bow to myself, bow to you, bow to each other, bow to the world. Naropa taught me that wisdom is not about choosing between the intellect or the heart, but that both are beautiful and necessary interdependent truths. The world that you are graduating to perhaps desperately needs that. A world that will constantly pressure you to become one thing over another. Sharp, but not so much perhaps the softness. Confident, but not so much perhaps the humility. Certainty, but not so much perhaps the mystery of the unknown. Productive and busy, and not so much the presence. I hope you might resist that, because Naropa most likely has taught you to be a warrior who is present, strong, and gentle. I hope we can all together practice courage and compassion. Today's world needs that. Innovation to do new things, and preservation of the traditions that you value. Learn new languages of technology and change, and also treasure the ancient languages between us of just being human. And I can personally say the work that I do now with leaders in cultivating organizational cultures that are deliberately developmental, helping people navigate complexity, conflict, and change, all of that was profoundly shaped here at Naropa. Naropa, where I learned that people flourish, we all flourish, when we feel truly safe, we are brave, we are seen, we are heard, and leadership without self-awareness is dangerous. So graduates, as you leave this place, may you remember, the world does not need more exhausted bodies. It needs awake, radiant, luminous human beings. And perhaps that is your real commencement, not merely going out into the world with a degree, but helping yourself, helping each other, and helping the world emerge and heal as Naropa has taught us. Class of 2026, we are cheering for you, and this hurting, beautiful world is waiting for you. So let's get this party started, shall we? Yes. It is my great pleasure now to introduce Amy Bobetta, who will offer the invocation. Amy is the director of the Naropa Writing Center, as well as the Visual Arts, Music, and Performance programs. Welcome, Amy.
Hi, hello, good afternoon. I will be sharing 2 of Joanne Kiger's poems with you this afternoon, and I will ask for audience participation. Woo! Okay, so for this first poem, I will ask you to look at someone nearby. Connect your gaze to the gaze of someone else in this room. Are you ready? Okay. Okay. Connect with your eyes. Yep, amazing. Are you ready? Haven't I seen you here before? That's me when I began. Thank you. For this second poem, we need to rehearse. I need you to practice making a buzzing or a humming sound. Bzzz. Oh my God, you're brilliant. This is amazing. Okay, so the cue to start buzzing will be that I will lift my hand like this. When I lower my hand, you will stop buzzing. Are we ready to try this? Okay. Beautiful. Now together we shall perform on moving to the Naropa campus, fall 1991. This is for the Tuesday morning dreams. All the old friends in new but familiar adventures. Many, 1,000 hands in positions of compassionate awakening. There is a plug for your electric toothbrush in the bathroom. Snow on the way in the foothills. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy. I would now love to welcome Naropa University's president, Dr. Paul Burkhardt. Paul was named Naropa's 8th president in August of last year, 2025. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium for our opening bow, a precious tradition at Naropa.
It's tradition at Naropa to begin meetings and ceremonies like this with a bow. It's a bow of intention, of aspiration, of recognizing and honoring yourself, but also the other, and noticing that we're moving from a normal space to a different sort of space, in this case, a ceremonial space. Welcome. Welcome to Naropa's Spring 2026 Commencement Ceremony. Welcome to all who have arrived here in person. Thank you for making the journey. And welcome to the many who are joining us remotely. We thank you for joining this celebration of the tremendous intellectual, artistic, spiritual, and personal accomplishments of our 2026 Naropa graduates. More on that in a second. As we begin this commencement ceremony today, a ritual of transition from past state into future, let us also recall, recognize, and welcome our ancestors. Those who tilled the soil and planted the seeds, who built our communities, who developed our cultural practices, our knowledge, our arts, our wisdom traditions. Let's take a moment now to remember and honor those who came before, to feel their presence here today. Thank you. We also begin by acknowledging that we are located on the traditional territories, the ancestral and unceded homelands of the Cheyenne, Arapaho, Ute, and many other Native American nations. We honor and recognize the many contributions of Indigenous peoples, both here locally and across the world, in the past, now, and continuing into the future. Their forced removal from their ancestral territories has caused devastating and lasting impacts. And Naropa remains committed to outreach, education, scholarship, and action that serve Indigenous communities. As we get started, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Naropa community, who through their good work continue to make wonderful celebrations like this real. For the past 51 years, and far on into the future of Naropa's 500-year experience. So, I'd like to ask all the staff of Naropa, both here and online, to please stand and be recognized. Thank you. You bring our students to Naropa. You support them through the experience and through graduation today, and then into their careers and beyond as alumni. You shape, hold, and support every moment for our students, from marketing and admissions to financial aid and registrar, through student life and academic support in the library, the Little Llama Cafe, special place, facilities, educational technology, important especially today, and events support, all the way through alumni engagement. From you, I've learned much about contemplative administration and operations this past year, how creative collaborations, guided by values that center our students, can create a culture of belonging. Every day, you turn challenges into solutions. And I'm pleased to report that the long-term trend of retention continues to improve this year again. And that is the clearest evidence of your excellent work and how you continue to improve what you do every day. So staff, we thank you for your good work. Next, let's do it. And so next, with the faculty, instructors, adjunct faculty, and other academic support staff of Naropa, both here and online, please stand and be recognized. That's right. I've been working in higher education for over 30 years, but this is my first year at Naropa. And this year I've witnessed the faculty of Naropa, and I've marveled at their combination of rigor, creativity, and care for the students and for the community of Naropa. The approaches to contemplative education developed here combine conceptual learning, the head, with experiential learning, the hands, with mindful practices from diverse wisdom traditions, the heart, the emotions, the spirit. Contemplative education was invented at Naropa. And in this time of intense pressure to homogenize and even automate higher education, Naropa steadfastly travels its distinctly human path and remains truly unique. A place where serving community, sitting in contemplation, and exploring spirituality are as embedded in the web of learning as reading, writing, and research. Naropa's distinctive accomplishment is due to over 50 years of good work by our faculty. We thank you for that good work. There's just a bit more about the faculty. Then we'll get to the students. This year, Naropa's been facing, like all institutions of higher education, the crises in higher education today and the larger world. And they've been doing so with the spirit of courage, creativity, and collaboration I have never seen before. Our faculty has mobilized to adapt to the unprecedented attacks on state and federal funding by developing, amongst other changes, 9 new limited residency bachelor's and master's programs, and 8 of them have already been improved by our Higher Learning Commission accreditor for launch in the coming year. The speed and the integrity with which they have accomplished this simply blows my mind. And this accomplishment is especially impressive on top of all the teaching, advising, mentoring, and care for our students that you do every day. Thank you for your good work. And I'm almost to the students, but before I get to the students, I need to ask the families, the chosen families, the friends, and the other supporters of our students, both here today and online, to stand and be recognized. It takes a village, and our village is global, and we know that the accomplishments of our students, most of whom are working adults, require support and sometimes significant sacrifices from families and friends. And we thank you now for your support, encouragement, and for your good work for our graduates. Thank you again. And finally, would the students of Naropa's Spring 2026 graduating class please stand and be recognized? It's true, the students of Naropa are like no others. I remember back last fall when I first arrived, it was the weekend before the first week of class, that Saturday, and the leaders of SUN, the Student Union of Naropa, Naropa's leadership, for students, had already organized a conference on leadership. And I found myself in attendance with trustees, with administration, staff, students, other faculty members, and we were all musing together about servant leadership, about contemplative leadership, transformative leadership, innovation, improvisation, and even jazz. Sun Leadership continues to effectively represent and advocate for the needs of Naropa students. And I also appreciate how Jonathan and Roby's mindful approach to planning for continuity in Sun, as they are both graduating today. A preview, they've already set the stage for the next year in scheduling a student gathering with myself and upper administration for better understanding and transparency in Naropa finances, and meetings to and in improving connections and communications between Naropa students and our Board of Trustees. So good work, Sun. Soon after I arrived, I was surprised and delighted to learn that almost 10% of all Naropa students are veterans. Yeah. Our veteran students have created the Students and Veterans of Naropa, an organization that advocates for our students, does fundraising, conducts outreach to community, and much, much more. The Students and Veterans of Naropa have been recognized nationally at conferences for the quality of their leadership. They're a model in higher education. Let's recognize Zach and the other student veterans. There are so many other examples of student leadership that go far beyond the boundaries of our learning community. Last fall, when the loss of SNAP benefits impacted many in our community, students and other groups rallied quickly and creatively to support those experiencing food insecurity by creating, for example, a free community-supported agriculture program and other solutions. It's really remarkable to see what our students do in the world, so thank you for that good work. And most recently, in these past few weeks, all of our undergraduate and graduate students have been presenting their best work to their faculty and to their peers in a diversity of capstone presentations, poetry readings, performances, poster sessions, and formal thesis presentations. I've been able to join many of these presentations in person and viewed others through recording. And I really encourage you all to sample this diverse, bountiful, and nourishing feast. It's truly inspiring to see the culmination of all the good work of the Naropa community, and I learned a lot. So I'm going to share a few morsels. About music, I learned how busking can be resistance. How music studios in the Nalanda building and jam sessions can build community. How music made in reciprocity with earth can be a feminist and anti-racist practice. And generally, I learned that music is an essential element of Naropa, and that Naropa experienced with music is better. About spirituality, I learned how the Hasidic lineage of Judaism can provide an inclusive paradigm for universalist inner spirituality. How the Jungian concept of the anima and the tantric concept of kundalini align and diverge in their functions and phenomenology. How reading Christian scripture with critical resonance provided by the musical Wicked can help us to overcome obstacles and advance our gifts in personal and professional clinical practice. About movement, dance, and somatic therapy, I learned how Naropa's institutional review board process can cause discomfort. But it can also support research into the effectiveness of therapeutic group processes centering discomfort while applying Buddhist practices to transform suffering. I learned how contact improv can leverage disorientation to disrupt current paradigms in the field of somatic therapy. I've never seen anything like that. It was beautiful. And I learned how recognition of the histories of colonization and the relationships of colonizer and colonized can inform embodied practices of belonging that empower one. Embodied practices of belonging that can empower one to feel belonging with one's ancestors in any place, and in ways that transform that social space to increase belonging for others. The presentations of these works have to be seen to be believed. About the readings and performances of poetry and prose at the Jack Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics, I learned that I can't describe it. My language is quite simply not sufficient to capture what Naropa's outriderly experimentation enables our students to do with language. If you saw those readings or watched the recordings, which you should, you will know that Naropa continues its unfettered approach to writing that is revolutionary in its forms, crossing genres, in its content and purpose to recall, to relocate, to express, develop, and expand through language a larger human community of love. Naropa was founded by people who are interpreting the world in new ways in order to change it into a place with less suffering, a project that is far from complete today. And our graduates, in their presentations, continue leading this project of experimentation and critique, letting us know what they care about and value at Naropa, and also what we need to do better. In this time of adaptation and transformation, we recommit ourselves to listening to student leadership and voices, and to receiving direction from student critique as we strive to do better. And better, we will do. Today, each of our graduates has demonstrated their competence above the expectations of their faculty and their peers. We know that this class of Naropa graduates, like those before, will continue their good work out in the world to transform human practice for a more socially just and ecologically regenerative future. Graduates, today we recognize your knowledge and wisdom, your courage, your creativity, and your capacity for transformation. You are the purpose, the power, the compassion, and the poetry the world needs now more than ever. We know you are ready, and we're so proud of you. Please join me in congratulating the Spring 2026 graduating class. It's now my pleasure and honor to introduce our commencement speaker, Kirsten Wilson. Kirsten is the artistic director, founder, and visionary of Modus Theater. She's a narrative artist and master teacher in the field of autobiographical monologue work. She edits Modus Monologues and Shoebox Stories podcasts, and Kirsten has created several award-winning multimedia performances exploring history through the lens of race and class. She excels at co-developing autobiographical monologue projects with leaders on the front lines of violence and oppression in the United States. And she's known for creating spaces of courageous empathy and civic hospitality. Kirsten is a Naropa University graduate of the MFA in Contemporary Theater program, and and she has also studied at the Union Theological Seminary, the Institute of American Indian Arts, Barnard College. And she refers to herself as a human primate of beauty, brokenness, and abundance. Please join me in welcoming Kirsten.
So thank you, President Burkhart. Good afternoon, beloved faculty, administrative staff, board, facilities management, technical support team, custodial staff, counselors, famous Naropa chai makers. It takes a sangha to make an institution run and some passion to make it sing. So thank you. And thank you for extending an invitation to me. It's truly an honor as an alum of the Naropa Contemporary Contemplative Theater Master's Program to give the commencement address. The one I actually will not give. Sorry, maybe I should have mentioned I'm not a big fan of commencement, the noun. Maybe I should have mentioned that, but nouns are totally overrated, are they not? Verbs are where the action is at. So I'm here to give the commencing speech, the life-giving present moment verb of a speech. And for those of you who are hoping for the traditional noun, I would offer that it would be un-Naropa of me to deliver such stagnancy. Commencement, the noun, historically signified the transition of a student into their professional role as a teacher. But at Naropa, we take the beginner's mind of mindfulness to heart and believe that all good teachers are perpetual students, and all of you who have been engaged students have also been teaching, not only yourself, but your peers and faculty as you dove into your education and what it is you came to learn. So, a very merry uncommencement to you. Seriously, I'm here to honor an accumulation of actions that each of you took to begin your studies over and over and over again over the last few years to receive today's credentials in your chosen fields. Credentials and titles that will now and forever be added to your name, tagged to your bio, your resume, your dossier, locked into your LinkedIn page, because at its most powerful ritual base, I do believe today's ceremony is about you commencing closer to your true name. And I'm sorry, parents, I know you probably all gave them lovely names. Thank you, I appreciate that. But this new extended moniker, whether it's Bachelor of Arts or Masters of Divinity, or Masters of Fine Arts, or Masters of Arts, Somatic, Psychology, Transcendent, Yoga, Environmental, Dance, Bachelors of Arts, all of y'all, milestones towards your unique missions in your life. And that you chose, as part of your new name, Naropa University. a university that proclaims we need leaders and scholars who understand there is no true education without contemplation, that intellectual learning wanders haphazardly without intuitive understanding, that Nobel Prize winning creativity is corrupted without compassion, and that if you lose yourself on the way to economic gain, you have lost your true home economics, yourself, your source, your soul, some of you might say. So I'm here to do my best to honor the commencing it took to achieve these new names and graduate from Naropa within your respective fields and focuses. Well done, yo. And it's particularly meaningful to me as the founder and artistic director of Modus Theater, someone who has been working with people who are formerly incarcerated, immigrants, transgender folks, to create original theater to support a multicultural democracy that celebrates all our children, to be talking about the power of commencing at this time in our raveling and unraveling nation, of reminding each other and ourselves that we do know how to commence, to begin again and again and again, regardless of the obstacles, regardless of the resources or lack thereof, because we know who we are at the source, at the root, and reminding ourselves that our ancestors are rooting for us at this root. And some of our genetic ancestors and many of our greatest spiritual ancestors built what we know of democracy in this country, taking courageous actions again and again and again, despite blood, batons, attack dogs, lynchings, reservation, internment, criminalization, hunger, and union busting. Okay. So let's start with some celebratory gratitudes. Some of you are the first to graduate from college in your families. Can we have a woo? Woo! And some of you are the first in your family not to choose one of the Ivy Leagues. Woo! Knowing, as many of us do who have tickled the ivy of the Ivy League, that it is sometimes the farthest place from the Justice League. And if you can truly be present in the present moment and take compassionate action to create the next abundant moment, then you are in a wisdom league. And if you didn't lose yourself on the way to your degree, you are truly, truly in a league of your own. Well done. Well done. So let's amp up the celebratory gratitudes for the Stardust stars of the show. The only thing better than a verb is an exclamation. A sound out of the body, sometimes even an expletive. Anything from an O to a O that speaks a whole vibrating wordless truth. So in a moment, I will ask you to give an even bigger whoop than you've already been giving, where you somatically celebrate yourself, and special guest attending, you too get to make a big loud sound and a few fist bumps as well, so that together we can release, as you know, somatic leaders, some tension, some stress, and arrive fully in the joy of celebrating the achievements of those graduating. And you out there who are on an online screen somewhere, you know who you are, wherever you are. I hope you will also make some really big sounds and enjoy surprising your neighbors with a shock of exuberant joy. What the? So, a big woo on the count of 3, one that will vibrate the Buddha statues all the way over in Nalanda. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo! Woo! Awesome. Woo! Awesome song true songs, because again, you did it. You didn't give up, you didn't give in. You turned in what needed to be turned in, timely or untimely. And somehow you kept psychologically turned on what needed to be turned on to keep your passion for your academic projects in momentum, despite requirements that you did or did not enjoy. Despite the challenges of finances and figuring out affordable housing in Boulder, or connecting across distance learning, yes, you guys, damn well done you, undergraduates, master's graduates, you made it, you commenced again and again, and that's why we're here. You didn't give up and you didn't give in. I know it. It's serious right now, y'all, about that. And we get to continue the abundance of gratitudes because most of you did not give up on each other either. Take a look around at some of your fellow students who encouraged you or inspired you or pissed you off enough to keep you going. And some of them managed that on a little online screen, but are here with you in the auditorium today so you can connect with these beloveds and pain in the asses in person. So enjoy the view, look around. These are some of your people, as Mr. Rogers would say, in your neighborhood. Yeah. Interbeing is actuality. We never truly do hard things alone. There's this beautiful research on this theme about why geese travel in a V formation and how they cover so much distance. 70% farther as a flock than a single bird alone could handle. They discovered that the geese at the front of the V exert their strength to push their wings through the air, and that together these geese, with their efforts and synchronicity, are creating airwaves like you see in the wake of a boat. And the geese near the end of the V, who might be tired, can ride on those airwaves, catch a breath, catch a break, and when they are stronger, they can move towards the front of the V, and those at the front can slip back and catch the breath, catch a wave. And like that, everyone can make it. So thank you, graduates, for helping each other, for being the wings in each other's flight so that so many of you could make the distance all the way from orientation to landing together at graduation. Although, unlike geese, when landing on the ground of graduation, please refrain from pooping. I have nothing against poop. It's life-giving fertilizer, but it's icky on the shoes and stinky. Don't do it. Even though if you had robes on, you could drop some and no one would know. The last time I was at a Naropa commencement, I was getting it and I had a red clown nose on, so I don't know what you guys were thinking about me, man. And speaking of poop, some of you have special guests in the audience who have put up with your poop, your caca castles for many years, and reminded you even when you were stressed and difficult and grumpy of your brilliance, and loved you forward to keep commencing. Your friends, families, your intimate relationships, at least the partners and spouses that survived the stress of school. Well done all. Your parents, the papas, the mamas. Yes, tomorrow's Mother's Day, and I will celebrate a Hallmark holiday if it's about mothers, so awesome. But also, we have the aunties, the tios, the godmothers, the godfathers, the grandparents, the sibs. Thank you for all the ways you have sent love, cash, or cheers. Woo! So they all could fly forward towards their goals because we need them. We really need them right now, right? We need y'all. We need the strong synchronized beating of your wings, your courage, curiosity, creativity, your compassion, your mindful leadership, and your crazy ideas like going to Naropa and thinking that investing in mindfulness and ethically engaged, equitable practices interwoven with earth-based relational and somatic health is the kind of life-giving economics that we need in this country today. Excuse me while I pause to talk to some federal officials evaluating student loan criteria. Life-giving economics! Because to paraphrase Dr. Jun-Lei Lee, senior lecturer at Harvard Graduate School of Education, what counts or what matters in this world cannot always be numerically or financially counted. And let's be honest, what can be counted does not always actually count if you know your true name. But now, it's time for my script to take a dramatic, and I'm sorry, somewhat tragic turn. A tragedy of hospitality within the themes of gratitude, the size of this auditorium. Because this 2,000-seat auditorium is a travesty. It really is. It barely fits the living, breathing guests, when the truth is we need thousands of empty seats because each person graduating has an Elijah of some kind with them, an honored ancestral or living guest who is with us in spirit and who has been supporting you at the bone and at the heart. Because there's so many people that are part of each of your flights to the finish. Maybe it's a member of your blood family who passed, a grandma or a grandpa, maybe a teacher, a neighbor, a coach, a counselor, your fellow soldier, somebody who reminded you of your value, your worth, and who saw you when you most needed to be seen, or you would not be here today, loves. You would not. We are all communal projects of personal relational love as well as community public policy love. There are so many people living in you and through you, so well done all, well done all. So for a moment, everyone, please close your eyes. Yes, those graduating or here for celebration, everyone, because all of you are haunted in the best way. In the best way, by people rooting for you. So close your eyes and think of one of those people that helped you become you at your best, who believed in you, who reminded you of who you are, who knew a brilliance, a beauty, a seed of an oak tree when they saw it. And now that you have them held in your mind's eyes, send your gratitude to them through the airwaves like a radio frequency prayer of love, and thank them in your mind's eye for supporting you in commencing towards your goals and your true name. Thank you. And now for the big moment. No, not handing over diplomas in your new name, not your big moment. My big moment. My moment. When I deliver the hopeful words of hope that colleges are hoping every commencement speaker offers, because it's rumored that there's something about the rise in authoritarianism, civil rights decreasing, wars continuing, deportation rampanting, genocide happening and funded by our tax dollars, people targeted for protesting or being their true gender, U.S. environmental protections erased, the increasing wealth of the 1% rocketing to the moon while SNAP program, SNAP, healthcare crashes, that, well, rumor has it some people could use some hope. But I'm sorry, wrong check. My apologies, but I'm not that interested in nouns, even hope, which is an abstract existential noun representing a feeling of desire, expectation, or trust that something good will happen. And I try not to spend any energy on either anxiety or hopes for the future, hoping things will be different, hoping things will get better, hoping for less white supremacy in the Supreme Court, hoping that some Rockefeller or Ford will fund Modis or Naropa or take away your student debts. No, don't get me wrong. I am fully open to the good and receiving all abundance. Let justice and funding roll down like water. But I try not to spend my energy hoping for some benevolent funder, benevolent God, or charismatic political leader to kiss us and make it all better. But I do believe with my all in you all and all of us, and that when we commence, and particularly when we synchronize our efforts and commence together, we will take flight. Yes. I believe and hope, the verb, which is ironically also hope, the acronym, and I know acronyms are a form of speech that usually make nouns look good, but this is an exception, y'all. I'm sorry. First, let's start with one of my least favorite acronyms, ACE. Many of you studying healing modalities know too much about ACE scores. ACE stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. If a child has 4 of the 10 criteria of trauma scored by ACE before the age of 6, then they are said to have little chance of graduating from high school, let alone college like you all, and are statistically likely to go to prison and have an adult chronic health issues, too depressing and too often too predictive. But there were some crazy wisdom seekers, perhaps like you, but at Tufts Medical Center, that thought ACE scores can't be the whole story. And what they figured out was that it's not so much the presence of adverse childhood experiences that are determining, but the absence of key positive experiences. They developed a new strength-based framework with the acronym, drumroll please, HOPE, healthy outcomes from positive experiences. Yes. It identifies 4 building blocks: relationships, environment, engagement, and emotional growth that foster resilience. With this understanding of HOPE, the acronym, healthy outcomes from positive experiences, we are all suddenly empowered to be each other's positive experiences, to be the hope. We are no longer lamenting high ACE scores, but taking actions to bring healthy outcomes to those we can impact. Just like the people you thanked in our shared silence, who personally impacted you and helped you in flight, we can be that for each other in our communities. And this hope is not just about personal love and all the people. It is also about the people who fought for civil rights and human rights, indigenous rights, LGBTQ plus rights, gender rights, workers' rights, education, equity, because they're also part of all of your flights. They're part of it. There's so many blood and spiritual ancestors in this room who impacted your ability to commence. These people became the hope by taking powerful actions that created more humane policies that help everyone have an opportunity to soar. To quote Cornel West, who I don't always agree with, but I won't give up on, justice is what love looks like in public. Justice is what love looks like in public. The people who created the momentum for the 1965 Civil Rights Act were Black Americans and their allies who took courageous action, uplifting public love, supporting the health of not only Black Americans, but the health of our entire democracy. They were beaten, batoned, bitten by dogs, and bullied, but still they beat their wings, and through their courageous actions and public love, our whole country could take flight and finally land as a democracy. Their public love and leadership is part of all our hope. Of course, y'all know, the Civil Rights Act has been profoundly damaged by the recent Supreme Court decision dismantling the Voting Rights Act. But the beauty, the power, the dignity, the abundance of people who knew their true name, of civil rights leaders, cannot be undone. We have seen these ancestors make extraordinary impacts on our country and thus on us. We have seen Minnesotans have impact. We know it can be done when we synchronize and organize. We can all take flight and go so much farther. But a flock can only fly 70% farther than an individual bird because no one bird or group of birds is always having to push while the others catch a wave. And too often in our country, the people flying at the front of the V for victory that have taken us the farthest towards democracy and justice have been Black Americans, people of color, and those on the front lines of state-sanctioned violence. While people more secure in their privilege, and those like myself, racialized white, often benefit from the courageous efforts of others and catch the wave. But it is exhausting always to be at the front, pushing against the headwinds of injustice. As one Modus Theater's documented monologuist says, "I am tired of begging you to act like a citizen in a democracy. I need rest too." So, if the V formation is going to fly us all to victory, beloved white people and people of privilege, we need to take our turn on the front lines using all our wings too to help push our country towards liberty and justice for all. Because if we commence together, all together, working together, protesting together, loving together, like the geese, we can cover unimaginable ground. We can move this country beyond the Civil Rights Act towards even more equity, more justice, more public love of human, animal, and plant. So, final words for the beloveds, the beautiful beloveds commencing. Please, please dance, sing, pray, do what you need to do to keep on commencing, keep on flying, keep on celebrating each other and all the people who have ever loved you personally or publicly or democratically. Each of us can be that hope. Do the hope. And now, with your new exciting credentials, these feathers in your cap, you can catch even more wind. And as the late, great, beloved poet Mary Oliver might say when looking at such a good-looking flock of Naropa geese, what will you do with your one wild and precious life? Verb on, my loves, verb on.
Thank you, Kirsten. My goodness, thank you. Next, let us welcome Moody Sbeiti to the stage. Moody will be reading 2 original poems. Moody is a Lebanese-American poet, author, and contemplative counselor. Born in Texas and raised in Lebanon, he moved to the United States at the age of 18 as an evacuee following the 2006 July War. A lifelong stutterer, he is passionate about writing and poetry as practices in fluency and self-expression. Moody graduates with a master's in clinical mental health counseling. Welcome, Moody.
Assalamu alaikum, shalom, and peace to everybody here. Thank you for that rousing speech. You'll see both polarities here. So I will be sharing two poems with you today. One about praise and one about the Naropa bow. So I come from a town in southern Lebanon, right on the border, or close to the border. And it just so happened that my 3 years here, starting in 2023, were marked by large-scale violence and genocide in and near my homeland. And if it were not for being in a community of practice and for my beloved, I don't know that I would have been able to sustain my way this far. So I find a lot of reason to praise. As the poet Rilke writes, "Tell us, poet, what you do. I praise." And so we can see that there is no question that the world is deeply suffering today. And what else is there to do but be grateful that we exist at all, that we can be here and celebrate. This is in praise of. I keep returning to this fact. Something exists. It could have been otherwise. The ground could have not been. Neither the rivers nor the stars. And our names would have not been spoken, and emptiness would not be emptiness, because possible was also not. So I praise the difficult blooming, the whimpering creek, the visitor sweeping my house. Even with all the deadly and monstrous ways, the many wars, the nameless roaring blaze, still I praise. The living and the dead, the rising, the falling, the mercy of impermanence, the certainty of love, the certainty of loss, this precious inhale. It could have been otherwise. And so I praise. What else could our purpose be than this most crucial of tasks? To love the things of this earth, to companion one another through the mystery, to bear ourselves in beauty and in terror, to pray, to sing, to let this eternal river flow from our lips over and over again in testimony. We were here. We lived for a short while. We noticed. We praised. We praised. We praised. Thank you. And this second poem, Naropa is a unique place, and so it comes with unique joys and very much unique challenges. Yes. One of my favorite traditions here is the bow. We start every class meeting with a bow. And how would our world change if we were to bow everything and everyone with such sincerity? At the end of this poem, I'll invite you to take a breath and bow with me if you so choose. The Naropa bow. You don't have to do it, is what we're told. But the gesture is welcome all the same. Gather everything you know to be true in this moment. Your fears, your loves, your joys, your worries, this immeasurable day. Feel the integrity of the ground rise up through your spine. Let the soft contour of the circle slide open your heart. Then, after you have sufficiently dropped into stillness, and because you love this only world, offer yourself to it. Yes, even though this place is far from perfect, even though you have traveled far, full of hope on the promise of a better way, but you know now that expectation and disappointment are sinister lovers. You know now that the world is worthy just as it is. Where else could you be but here? So if you are feeling called, if the great mystery has moved even a pulse in you, bow your head to the circle, down to the wisdom of your own heart. Honor each being around you as a divine gift, this great reverence that daily holds our world. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Moody. Thank you so much, Moody. Yeah, I have a little secret about the bow, which I so love as well. Some of you have probably heard about the California Institute of Integral Studies. It's a little bit of a kind of maybe a little healthy rivalry between Naropa and such other schools. Well, recently I am actually facilitating some leadership programs at the California Institute of Integral Studies, and I snuck in the Naropa bow. I start their programs with a bow. And I did tell them that I'm bringing this from Naropa University. Now, I get to welcome Dr. Karen Kissel-Wigella to offer the faculty address. Karen has been an esteemed core faculty member for 45 years. Over the years, Karen has also served as the faculty trustee on the Naropa Board of Trustees, was the founding member of the Faculty Cauldron, and was the first chair of the Faculty Academic Council. Karen is retiring this spring, and we are ever grateful for her many years of deep commitment and to teaching Naropa and its students. So thank you and welcome, Karen.
They brought me an apple box. So that I could see you all. And maybe you could see me. So, hello, President, board, faculty, staff, other faculty, administration, everyone, families, and, oh yeah, the graduating class. Oh, they're counting down from 10. They told me 5 to 7. Ooh. So first, let me say that it has been my privilege and my honor to work at Naropa for so long and to have had the privilege of hanging out with the most interesting people. Just all of you, so interesting. Sometimes that's great. Sometimes it is dreadful. But mostly I'm grateful. When I was thinking about what I was going to speak about today, and I knew I didn't have much time, but I've had about a month to think about it. And I thought of this and that, and I want to say this, and I want to include that, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I had a dream, and those who know me well know that I'm not very, excuse me, I don't know another word for this, woo-woo. But I had this dream, and in my dream, I was sitting in the audience at commencement. And in my dream, I knew I was going to give the faculty address. And then I realized I did not have my notes. And I had a moment of, you all know that moment. Oh my God, I forgot my homework. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then I didn't remember, then I realized that I could still get up and give the faculty address. And I could do that because I had been trained in how to do that, in how to show up, and to show up without having any idea what I'm going to do next. I had learned that at Naropa. The ability to show up is one of the main teachings of contemplative education. That kind of unconditional confidence. Confidence not in anything in particular, but confidence that when you got there, you would be enough, and that I would be enough. That's precious. But I did finally realize there was something I wanted to talk about, something in particular. And it is extremely ordinary and also magical. So if you would indulge me to please once again close your eyes, and I will hopefully give you a taste of contemplative education, especially for those of you who are not students or were never students at Naropa. If you would close your eyes, please. And just notice what you can hear. Notice the feeling of your clothing on your body touching your skin, your feet on the floor or wherever they are. Notice any smells. Notice the temperature in this room or wherever you are, all of you at home or online. And then finally, carefully, open your eyes and notice what you can see. Just let it be there, whatever sights there are. And then I would invite you to notice the noticing. Notice that aspect of your being that simply witnesses your experience, that doesn't add anything to it. We call that awareness. Naropa trains the ability to come back again and again, to not doing anything, and then what comes up is awareness. Awareness is always there. And awareness has no allegiance. And if we can rest in awareness, what we find is that awareness contains warmth. That we are aware, awake, warm, caring, compassionate beings. And we can train to access that. And that's what Naropa teaches. Whatever program one is in, whatever one is preparing to do next, Naropa trains our ability to be awake, aware, and not caught up in the distractions that our culture is so good at providing and is getting better at all the time. If we weren't good at distraction before, we're certainly going to be soon. But awareness is not affected by that, and sometimes it's called brilliant sanity. Sometimes that awareness, that clarity, is called our natural wisdom. And it leads to precision and to a word I can't think of. Oh yes, discernment. And my favorite, it leads to developing a really good crap detector. So awareness is what we need to do all of the things that we've been hearing about. Without awareness, we cannot make any good decisions. We can't even show up. So I just want to say to the graduates that I think of commencement, this occasion, I think of it as an empowerment and a recognition that you are holders now of the Naropa lineage. So please, take that wisdom, take it out into the world that so badly needs it, and turn that into action and caring and also resting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Karen. Next, I want to welcome our undergraduate student speaker, Leah Miller. Leah is an enthusiastic community builder with a passion for learning, interspiritual life, and prayer. And she's graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Religious Studies with a minor in psychology. Thank you, Leah. It's all yours.
I came to Naropa by accident. Before I considered going back to school, I was stubborn. I believed that I didn't need a degree to be successful in this world. And that may have been true, but at the time I was working as a school administrator and I was encouraging the seniors to apply to college. So noticing my own hypocrisy, I decided to at least look at my options. After a simple admissions call with Naropa, I have been provisionally accepted with a scholarship. That's correct. I didn't actually apply to go here. But before I knew it, the school that I worked for liquidated my position, and all I knew about my future was that I had an acceptance letter to a university I knew virtually nothing about. Reflecting now, I understand why people say that when something is meant for you, it'll come to you. My entire Naropa experience was providential like that. We all have our Naropa origin story. I'm sure the graduates agree. Very rarely do any of us come here under normal circumstances. None of us desired a traditional education, so we just ended up here. But it wasn't just ending up here. It was, for me, like a homecoming. From the moment I walked onto campus, I was included in the community like a precondition. I learned quickly that there was nothing I needed to do to belong here, that I deserved community like I deserved to breathe. All around me, I met students passionate about their studies beyond the classroom, devoted to their paths of maturity, creative, spiritual, psychological, etc., and justice-driven in every aspect of life. It was a breath of fresh air after being competitive academic environments my whole life. For the last 3 years, I have proudly been at a university that calls itself a beloved community. But what is beloved community? Do we know what it means? We hear all the time about we hear it in community gatherings in classrooms, and we even hear it in our Naropa weekly newsletter. Our newsletter is called Beloved Community. But do we know where the term beloved community comes from? Beloved community is an ethic for living in a pluralistic world popularized by Dr. King that I learned in my interspiritual dialogue class here at Naropa. This model holds the belief that every person's interpretation of reality is an understanding of ultimate truth and divinity. And the more seemingly opposing views that a community can hold within itself, the closer the community is to reality itself. It only follows then that as a community of interpreters, beloved community sees that the more diverse peoples, cultures, and views we can include in our community, the closer relationship we have to reality, allowing us to see more of the world for how it actually is. For some, holding this community orientation is even a spiritual practice. That the dedication to holding many seemingly opposing realities in the same space brings us closer to reality as divinity. Beloved community in this way is a devotion to the embodied experience in community of the divine filling the whole earth without missing any corners. In this week's Torah portion, Bahar, thank you. The God of the Israelites gives a charge to the people, a sentiment that I think echoes within the students and the faculty at Naropa. This is my translation of Leviticus 25:35. Now, when your sister has sunken low, and her hand reaches to pull herself up beside you, you are to hold her, make her strong, as though she is a traveler, a stranger looking to settle. She will live beside you. The world that awaits for us after we walk this stage today does not operate like this. We see fewer folks crossing lines of diversity and caring for the stranger, trading solidarity for a false sense of security and a belief in a zero-sum game. This leaves us in a world that struggles with compassion and holds little room for collective liberation. If our time here has enlightened me to any future, I have learned that I must always behave subversively to this unconscious assumption, using the fruits of this education to create a world that works for all of my relations. To some of our guests here, this may sound a little bit naive, and maybe it would be if I thought it was possible to do it alone. But I have witnessed true excellence from this graduating class. The class of 2026 has talented musicians, land stewards, community builders, frontline activists, grassroots organizers, trauma-informed therapists, poets, artists, embodied creatives of all kinds, spiritual caretakers, and leaders on all fronts. As we go out into the world, into our vocational callings, we must carry into us, into those desperate worlds, disparate worlds, the charge of beloved community, to tightly grasp the arm of the stranger and pull her up beside you, regardless of her backgrounds or beliefs, because we are dedicated to a world that really works. Thank you to my friends who stayed committed to me through my best and my worst. My professors and mentors who saw something in me and shepherded me through my education. And to my family for supporting my dreams no matter how crazy they are, or sometimes can be. From you all, I have learned confidence, commitment, and unconditional love. And to the class of 2026, from you I learned how to be a receiver and creator of belonging. It has been an honor learning from you. Congratulations to you all, and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you so much. Now, I get to welcome our graduate student speaker, Jess Benjamin. Jess is graduating with a Master of Divinity degree. They're a photographer and filmmaker who teaches at the intersection of mindfulness and creativity. While at Naropa, they served as a Buddhist chaplain at Bryn Mawr College, Philadelphia, and loved bringing contemplative teachings and practices to college students. Jess will be pursuing more of this work after graduation, I'm sure. Welcome, Jess. Thank you.
Please wait while I magically grow taller. Fellow graduates, friends and family, faculty and staff, folks online, and anyone who might have just wandered in here and wondered to themselves, where am I and how did I get here? I've actually been asking myself the same thing, which is how I ended up at Naropa. Maybe some of you have too. In a teaching widely attributed to Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, the founder of Naropa, he says, "The bad news is you're falling through the air, nothing to hang on to, no parachute. The good news is there's no ground either." When I first heard this quote, I thought to myself, wait, that's the good news? But the longer I sat with it, the more its wisdom emerged. With no parachute and no ground, we are floating in a liminal space. Liminal meaning between, in transition, in a state of becoming. As soon-to-be graduates, we know a little something about this space. Today marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, as we leave the familiar nest of our schooling behind and embark on a new adventure, equal parts exciting and daunting. You don't have to be a graduate to know a thing or two about liminality, though. Looking at the world around us, it's clear that we are in a time of profound crisis, transition, and uncertainty as a species and as a planet. It is the first time in my lifetime that I've genuinely not known what the future holds, and I'd guess the same is true for others here as well. This is a deeply unsettling feeling, to say the least. It's also exactly what Trungpa was speaking to. Without a parachute, we are unmoored, grasping at the air around us for purchase and finding none. But the truth is, arrival has always been a myth. If only it were as easy as jumping from here to there and landing on solid ground. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us that no matter how hard we cling to the idea of solidity, the shifting sands of impermanence will win out every time. In other words, liminality is not just a temporary condition, it is the only condition. Now, I know what you're thinking. I came here for some hope, not a reality check. Okay, but hear me out. Groundlessness is, in fact, good news because within it, everything is possible. There is uncertainty, yes, but there is also the potential for great change and transformation. And that is what our world so desperately needs right now. It needs us, in the words of Roshi Bernie Glassman, to know nothing, pay attention, and be kind. Admitting we don't know is hard, but it is also liberating. When we can let go of how we think things should be and instead show up for how they actually are, we are able to respond from a place of realism instead of fantasy, from compassion instead of fear. The world is made and remade every day, and we are along with it. From each cell in our body to each star in the sky, all is in transition. Our wisdom traditions teach us that while this change and the uncertainty that arises from it are inevitable, we do not have to go it alone. The truth is, we are all falling together. All of us in this room, all of us on this planet, all of us situated within a long, beautiful lineage of ancestors who didn't know, but kept paying attention and being kind anyway. We know from our ancestors that one of the greatest acts of spiritual resistance in the face of violence and destruction is to cultivate a compassionate imagination, to hold the door wide open to the unknown and aspire to make it better for everyone. This requires creativity and vulnerability, action and contemplation. It asks us to join the energies of don't just sit there, do something, with don't just do something, sit there, which luckily many of us in this room excel at. We cannot do any of this from our own private islands of certainty, though. Instead, we have to be willing to sit with each other in the shared liminal space of the unknown, to let ourselves be changed in the process, and to understand that we might not be around to see the fruits of our labor, but to keep planting the seeds anyway. We have spent our time at Naropa doing this inner work of cultivation and contemplation, and now it is time to bring this work out into the world, to take the leap into the unknown without the safety of a parachute or the solidity of the ground. We can't know what's happening next. We can only know what's happening now. And right now, anything and everything is possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you. And now it is time, graduates. I welcome back to the podium or to the stage President Paul Burkhart again and our Chief Academic Officer and VP of Academic Affairs, Dr. Jeffrey Petherbridge. It is time for you to receive your degree.
We've entered the hereby portion of the day when speech can have real actions.
Master's degree candidates, please stand.
President Burkhart, the individuals now presented to you have completed all the requirements for the degrees of Masters of Arts, Master of Divinity, or Master of Fine Arts, at the request of the faculty of Naropa University, and on their behalf, I present them to you for the awarding of those degrees.
Here it comes. Okay. Upon the successful completion of degree requirements, and by the authority vested in me, I now confer on you the degree of Master Arts, Master of Divinity, or Master of Fine Arts, with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. And please be seated.
I invite Kelly Watt, Director of Alumnix Relations, to announce the graduating student names, at which she is most expert.
Thank you. This is where it gets good, everybody. All right. It's been pretty great, though, so far, right? These are their positive experiences. This is really important. So I take this very seriously to say their names correctly and with conviction. Okay, come on up. The degree of Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling, Contemplative Psychotherapy, and Buddhist Psychology, Alexis Leanna Campbell. Michael Sauter. Vanjaj Garg. Kenny Nicole James. Manasa Ashok. Elena White. Caroline Jacobs. Ashley Warlick. Henry Smith. Skylar Key. Nick Schneider. Min Duan. Lodro Kyle James Parker. Josh Mann. Concentration in somatic counseling, body psychotherapy. Get it out, everybody. That's right, that's right. All right, Morgan Dent. Nicole Julianne White. Kate Mall. Sophia Ida McPhee. Caitlin Boysen Miranda. Isabel Francis Crossan. Heidi Ann Schufert. Talia Matz. Jay Agati. Lydia Antonivna Lutshushina. No, wait. I gotta get it right, y'all. This is a big deal. All right, give it to me one more. Lutshushina. All right. Jocelyn Janon Morris. Gabriel Evenson. Noah Shablam. Bruce Kenyon. Did I get it? Yeah, okay. Need some more practice, y'all. Gabriela Ayala Canitzares. Janelle Oakes. Gabrielle Robledo. Eden Soor. Sarah Reddy. Natasha Kirin. Nyla Victoria Davis. Sophia Lee. Xialing Chu. Joelle Stilley. Concentration in somatic counseling, dance, movement therapy. They need music. They actually don't. They dance anyway. Isabella Casper. Cindy Keith. Melanie Ann Johnson. Kins Klein. Shannon Lynn Bailey. Nicole Migatz. Sarah Skilling. Karina Pinson. Sam Elliott Wild. Concentration in transpersonal art therapy. Lillian Dobesh. Anna Levacy Vark. Samantha Dayton. Sheridan Butcher Dooley. Madeline Nelson.
Sarah Lindsay Flynn. Sylvester Waters. Sunbi Matisse Borda. Jessamine Shanks. Rhea Bonstrom with Gabe, Anders, and Arlo. Okay. Maje Stabile with Amari and Pearl. Keely Conroy. Victoria Stetson. Samantha Gill. Concentration in transpersonal counseling psychology, mindfulness-based transpersonal counseling. Sarah Elizabeth Bird. Kirk Stapley. Adam Wernham. Clark Carroll. Moody Sabati. Kate Moss. Taylor Ferrari. Alicia Hammer. Austin Grant Henry. Kendra Park. Summer Hagen. Adrian Bazanis. Cher Lee. Amaya Mensinger and Josefina Brasino. Bobby Boyle. Emily Cass McDonnell. Lisa N. Dean. Ashley D. Guthrie. Cecily Overman. Sophia Moss. Mark Bruckner. Linda Marie Ireland. Colleen Subramanian. Lily Davis. Chelsea Brooke Pohl. Didam Ergen and Toros Zen. Julian Staiano. Thank you. Mary Fitzgerald. Ethan Bialik. Lucia Marie Turpak. Nicholas Kraus. Krause. There we go. Jordan Dresser. Kaylee Koff. Robin Style. Madeline Schultes. Della Wilsey. Elizabeth Flanagan Diamond. Casey Rose Kewell. Ellie Sidebottom. Courtney Randolph. John Murray. Katira Engelhart. Samantha Joy Mendel. Angie Mo Killinen. Christina, excuse me, start over. Christina Spake Wright. Lauren Doyle. Savannah Teller Brown. Rhonda Painter. Lisa Olson. Amber Lee. Isa Jukiro. Andy Esper. Jen Voigt. Elena Rose Wildheart. Isaiah Hill with Nirvana and Zinnia. Glennis Hunt. Hutan Ziari. Caitlin Blunt. Kadisha Taylor Morgan. Emily Cohn. Gabriela Cristina Villalpando. Casey Bear. McKenna Ann Cosso. Caleb Deppendall. Say your last name for me. Jonathan Holubiak. Elizabeth Allison Eubank. Thank you. Kelly Gant. Concentration in transpersonal counseling psychology, transpersonal wilderness therapy. Haley Colvard. James Hilton. Dr. Kelsey Loopy. Jessica Ray Arneson. Brandon O'Hearn. Okay. Steve E. Taco. Sasha Radel. Sarah Hogan. Bella Raguzzi. Kevin Andrew Jordan. Evan Wilson. Allison Saltz. Alex Zabin. Master of Arts in Eco-Psychology. Get excited. Andrew Atchison. Rachel Elizabeth Thompson. Master of Arts, Religious Studies, Yoga. Matthew Kopp. Peter Michelson. Sachi Wolf. Sarah Spiegel. Tanya Griffith. Melissa Ramos. Master of Divinity. Zachary Brown. Elvira Sevilla Moran. Xuan Wang. Modesto Garcia Jr. Jennifer A. Jones. Kevin Curtis. Daniel Ray Bedsall. Reverend Josh Prakasha Morris. Sarah Abigail Edelman and Rumi Spear. Paul Madison. Chelsea McCoy. Beautiful. Winnie Lamb. Jess Benjamin. Master of Fine Arts, Creative Writing. Roman Williams. Master of Fine Arts, Creative Writing and Poetics. Heather Mars. Mari Brown. Kristen Richards. Courtney Courts Clapp. Adam Wesley Fitzgerald.
Bachelor's degree candidates, please rise. Getting rowdy out there.
President Burkhart, the individuals now presented to you have completed all the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, and at the request of the faculty of Naropa University and on their behalf, I present them to you for the awarding of those degrees.
Upon successful completion of degree requirements, and by the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. And you can be seated.
The degree of Bachelor of Arts, Art Therapy. Leela Pettibone. Morgan Unger. Maya Allison Griffith. Tara Tepke. Creative Writing and Literature. Riza Pikanen. Sambhavi Ashok. Elementary Education, Riley Hathaway. Environmental Studies, Piper Potts. Ella Dorothea Dos. Interdisciplinary Studies, Shiva Sampurna. Joshua Coffey and Ramon. Oh, okay. I don't think I'm supposed to say. Okay, sorry. Lizette Fernandez Ledon. Okay. Lizette Fernandez Ledon. Talon Banks Vallet Phillips. Tori Welch. Catherine Linehan. Eva May Stern. Jonathan Carey. Mia Franconi Roby Robichaux. Lillian Pincharo. Sweden Balsley. Say the middle.
Konzon.
Ansel Konzon Braidman. The one and only Bjorn M. Walters. Emily Rosa Corbett and Luna. Megan Josette Hainstock. Religious Studies, Leah Aaron Miller. Alicia Tatiana Castillo with Nayeli and Mateo. Caden Goforth. Visual Arts, Mona Taylor. Mackenzie Reinhardt. Psychology, Audrey L. Weaver. Heidi Marie Overton. Gabriela Christine Bustamante Espinosa. Gemma Breslin. Sierra Pockrub. Talia Clayman. Donna Ponchner Breitman. Kalea Trinity Maron. Jordan Marie Dyer. I know, I saw it. You did? Oh, did you? Montel Christine Eckley. Kyle Anderson. Meredith Ruby Patchett. Gemma McGinnis. Megan Salazar. Greg Grimm. Taylor Hatfield. Cassidy Kroll. Grace Caroline Chambers. Brody Polcrab. William Reamer. Emily Holmes.
And all those of you who just got your BAs, we look forward to you coming back for another Naropa degree.
Wow. Wow. And once again, I'll say what I said earlier. I hope all you graduates are feeling all the feels, as we all did. Dear graduates, congratulations again. All the accomplishments that you are proud of. All the moments for which you are grateful. The small and large victories. I do have a little bit of housekeeping logistics to read at the very end, but for now, just as we wind down this grand and beautiful afternoon, I'd like to offer something from my own culture. Whenever there is a festive occasion, something to celebrate, in Sri Lanka there is an ancient Buddhist chant, ancient as in truly about 2,500 years old, and it's called a Jayamangala Gatha, and it's in the Pali language, which translates as auspicious victories. I'd like to chant just a few lines from that and then offer a contemporary version or an English translation of it. The refrain of each verse ends with a blessing. Blessing for yourself, blessing for each other, and blessing for humanity and this world. By this grace, may joyous victory be yours. Could you repeat that with me? By this grace, may this joyous victory be yours. Nice. And you'll be doing that again. Bahung sahasamapinim mita sayudantang girimekalang uchita gora sasena marang danadi dhamma vindina jitava munindo tang tejasang bhavatu te jaya mangalani When the world meets you with aggression, may you answer without losing your humanity. By this grace, may joyous victory be yours. When uncertainty and exhaustion surround you, may you remain steady enough to hear your own deeper wisdom. By this grace, may this joyous victory be yours. When anger rises around you, may your presence be more powerful than your fear. By this grace, may this joyous victory be yours. When you encounter harm in this world, may you resist becoming harmful yourself. By this grace, may this joyous victory be yours. When you are misunderstood or unfairly judged, may you remain grounded in integrity. By this grace, may joyous victory be yours. When noise and division compete for your attention, may you lead with curiosity and discernment. By this grace, may joyous victory be yours. And when the world asks you to harden, may you remember that strength and tenderness belong together. By this grace, may joyous victory be yours. Class of 2026, may your lives be of benefit to yourself, to each other, and to this world. Congratulations. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of Naropa. And keep coming back. Yes. In a moment, President Burkhardt will return to close the ceremony. Please remain seated until the speakers leave the stage and the students follow the flags out. You are invited to join us for a reception immediately following at the Nalanda campus, which is 6287 Arapahoe Avenue.
With the sound of the gong and a bow, we conclude the Spring 2026 Commencement Ceremony.
go.